My mom had me at 16. She's one of my best friends in my whole life, okay? Yeah, she said, oh, you don't even know her. Relax. She said, oh. She trying to give me the retard, oh. Dirty motherfucker. But listen, this is my only problem with this bitch. Listen, Listen, I was the only child all the way till I was fucking 18 years old. You understand? You know the math here? Listen, me and my brother are fucking 18 years apart in age. Me and my mom are 16 years apart in age. You know how uncomfortable that shit is growing up? I always used to tell my mom, listen, you didn't raise me. We fucking grew up together, bitch. We're homies. We're friends. You know, some people have phony ass shit, like my parents guided me and I used their advice to get me where I am in life and just such strong community leader. Fuck no. By the time I was 6, I was like, this bitch is dumb. Dumb. And she never laid hands on me, not because, I'm sure she wanted to, you know what I'm saying? But after I seen her run one time, I was like, I could juke this bitch, you know what I mean? I played Pop Warner football, you know what I'm saying? She couldn't, spin move on this bitch. She could never. That's why I hate when people be like, oh, my parents beat the fuck. I'm like, fuck, you're a pussy, you know what I mean? My mom could only beat on me till like Pop Warner. After that, I was like, for sure, bitch, I'll fucking just, you can get dehydrated before you hit me, you know what I mean? I watch her fight my aunt. She's like 0-2, you know what I mean? So I'm like, But you know what? This is why I do love my mother to death. This is the truth, is that she prepared me for life. She didn't even realize it, because like as a, you know what I mean, as a young mom, she didn't know how to discipline me. She was just trying to still figure it out and shit. And again, she didn't go the physical route. She did what women are phenomena. She broke me down mentally and spiritually from the inside. Women know, you know what it is. Your husband's right now like, oh, fuck. But you know what? I'm glad my mom did that shit. You know why? Because my mom didn't realize she was a fucking prophet. She didn't realize that she was getting me ready for this new era that we live in. Like when she was teaching me, when she was keeping me, you ever hear that old term, iron sharpens iron? Yeah. You ever hear that? That's what she was doing with me mentally, little mental games. Talk shit. And I'm glad she did that. Because look, now we live in an era where there's real adults in this bitch that hear jokes out loud and go, oh, what the fuck? That's their immediate reaction. I'm not gonna laugh at that kind of shit. That fucking crosses my moral boundaries. And I'm glad I wasn't raised that way, because my mom didn't raise me to be, you know, a bitch. You know what I'm saying? At least, Jesus Christ, just listen to things. Shut the fuck up. You know why? You know what my mom thought was funny? On Father's Day, she would text me, ha ha. That's what, she thought that was funny, sick bitch. And she was a master manipulator, make me think we were doing good in life because she had a good job at the cable company growing up, and she'd be like, hey, everything's name brand, right? But we didn't have, like, anybody else here not, like, nutritionally, like, you didn't get the right nutrition growing up at all? Like, I grew up, nobody in here grew up eating cereal to exist. To exist is different than a treat. My mom didn't know how to cook, didn't know how to cook anything. And at one point it was just a refusal. I think she was just being petty, you know what I mean? But I would eat cereal and then eat, like, you know what I mean? And then eat the, you know what I mean? Have the whole shit, and then I'll be dancing as a kid. And that's how I'm telling you, I knew she was an asshole because she'd be mad at me. And I'm like, you know what I mean? There's 40 grams of sugar in the milk alone. Why don't you learn how to boil a hot dog, bitch, so I could go to sleep like the other kids, like a person? Piece of salami or something, I don't know, just... Fucking didn't do anything. She didn't, and I'm telling, and that's the truth. I'm telling you, if you grew up with all that fucking high fructose corn syrup and fucking cereal, you're fucked up now, I promise you. Like all the new kids nowadays, they'd be like, I have ADHD because I looked at TikTok and now I think I have fucking ADD. You don't have ADD because it's a random roll. I'm telling you right now, it's connected to your nutrition. I promise you it is. Everybody in here who grew up like that all have a fucking weird twitch. I promise you. You have some kind of muscle spasm or somewhere, and you're always like, damn, I don't know where that shit came from. I know I fell down on my bike one time when I was like 11 years old, but that can't be it. Mine's my eyelid. My eyelid will jump. Like sometimes when I'm watching movies, my eyelid will just do that. And every time it does it, I'm like, that's for sure Cocoa Krispies from 1999, bitch. Those were unregulated cereals, you know what I mean? There's no way. See, having a dickhead mom made me more health conscious. I'm telling you, I notice everything on my body to this day. You ever feel like your cell phone vibrated in your pocket? You ever feel that shit? And the phone's not even, you don't even have your phone? That's cancer, bitch, you're gonna die, you know what I mean? That's not like regular shit. You guys think that's normal behavior? And you're about like, damn, I think my homie's calling, nope. That's just a tumor growing up on your shit.